Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real.
Why you look at me like that?
Good morning. Good morning to the bros in the studio.
Good morning to you, young lady.
Hello, Mr. DeVoe. How are you today, sir?
I am good. Let me get right out of the way.
Yes.
As I am ready for
Right
you and Jermaine to start y'all
No.
foolishness.
There will be none. There will be none.
I'm good. I enjoyed my weekend. Hopefully everybody did. Hope everybody was safe and able to join us on this morning for another edition of Say Something Real. Thank you.
Look at you. Moved right out.
Hello, Michelle. I'm doing great. Good to see you. All right.
You're supposed to wait till she asked, man.
Hey, man, I figured she wasn't going to ask me. So I figured I'd take the initiative and do it myself.
How was your weekend? That's a kind of safe question.
Okay, yeah, it's safe.
It's safe. How was your weekend, bro?
Weekend was extravagant.
Extravagant.
Oh boy.
Why was it extravagant? Why was it extravagant?
Yeah, like why that choice of words?
Hey, man, listen here,
Why
man.
was it extravagant, bro?
You know, sometimes
Today, sometime today, you might want to tell us.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta, accept what God allows. Amen.
Okay. All right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Well, I don't know how that makes it extravagant.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know
just
neither.
Go with that. Hey, Shelby,
don't
what's
know.
happening, sis? All right, y'all. So I'm so glad that was over quick.
I figured I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Got a whole week to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, a number of things I want to do. Some of them are announcements. Then we'll get into some news. But I want to definitely remind people that what day is the 11th? Friday. The Milwaukee Brewers are going to host their annual Negro Leagues tribute game. This is happening on July 11th, 2025, Friday at American Family Field. They are playing against the Washington Nationals. The event celebrates the history and legacy of the Negro Leagues, particularly the Milwaukee Bears, a team that played in the Negro Leagues. The game will include pre-game ceremonies, live music, I'm so sick of the word curated. Oh my God. A curated makers market and other festivities. Let me put a pin in curated. Let me put a pin in it and I'm gonna come back to it. Okay, curated. So the game is scheduled to start at 7:10 p.m. Let me see if there's any events. The evening will feature a pass the bat ceremony, a barrier breakers exhibit, live music, and again the makers market. The Negro Leagues were professional baseball leagues for African American players formed during the era of segregation. The Milwaukee Bears were a Negro League team that played in the early 1920s, facing challenges such as finding a home field. So that's the thing. I always say we love to talk about the state of Wisconsin. We never had slavery. Slavery wasn't legal, but segregation was well in effect. Significance, this annual event, they will celebrate the contributions of Black folks to baseball and Milwaukee's baseball heritage. And there are actually, if you go to the Journal Sentinel online, there's a story, and they actually have footage of the players in their Milwaukee uniforms, African American players. And the reason why I wanted to highlight this right away this morning, there is so much work being done to dismantle anything that centers on or focuses diversity, equity, and inclusion in relationship to sports, in relationship to workplace accomplishments, history, etc. And there are folks that are even saying they've seen the Brewers pull back on some things that they thought had more of a DEI type of feel. And this is simply saying that we know that there are all kinds of groups that love the game of baseball, have been treated differently in baseball over the years. um, that things that we need to support to cultivate more interest from fans in particular demographic groups. There are all kinds of reasons why you would have programs that seem like they target a particular demographic or ethnic background, but there is a rhyme and reason, a rationale for all of those things. So, with that being said, any organizations that is doing something to hold a line in terms of the specialty programming or events that they've had to uplift, include other groups. I'm doing my best to highlight that, and I support that, and I appreciate it. Even if we don't get to keep everything, being able to keep something, because as Donald Trump and the Trump administration and Republican conservatives have been pressuring groups, companies, organizations to get rid of DEI initiatives. On this, the Brewers held fast. On this, the Brewers held fast. But the thing is, we've got to go to the game. Now, I'm not going to be in town, but for people that are, if you hadn't considered going to one of these games, please go. Please go. Because number one, you got to be able to justify continuing to have it. Um, And if we're not showing up, yes, other people are being educated, but we have to demonstrate that it is important to us as well. If you had not, and I know baseball can be expensive. I know all these sports, trying to take your family can be expensive. Figure out if there are any price deals. I could look and see if I find any and let you know. But please go, because there are people that work hard. I think of Dennis Biddle and all the work that he has done to make sure. You want to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just with Dennis Biddle this past weekend, and we had to play at this house party with Joe Jordan, and he was there, and he was actually talking about that.
He was talking about the game.
Yeah, he was talking about the game, and he had tickets and things like that. But he was talking about how he was the player that was fighting for the black Negro players, whatever, to get what they deserve and the monies that they were supposed to have, and he made it happen.
Yeah, because one of the big things that if you ever heard Dennis Biddle talk, the number of players black players who never received a pension or any financial assistance from Major League Baseball, that has now, to some extent, finally happened. The MLB and the MLB Players Association have expanded existing programs to include players who did not accumulate enough time in the major leagues to qualify for traditional pensions, but who played in the Negro Leagues. And so when you talk about the power of one or two or a few, um, you cannot go anywhere and see Dennis Biddle and not have Negro League baseball come up. Just wasn't going to happen. Whether he had the jersey on, he had a book in his hand, he, had some literature. He was telling you need to pay attention to this or you need to be here. And this man has been relentless. It's almost like Peggy Hardy with the Black Inventors Museum. Has been relentless in making sure that this stayed alive, this fight stayed alive. And there has been a degree of success because of that, players who, and some of these people are still alive, who would have not received anything had a champion and an advocate. So please, please, please. And the reason why I say that again, where these companies are trying to continue programming, stand up for them, help them out. Because I think about Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson was one of the first companies to shift away from DEI initiatives, including dropping supplier diversity spending goals, ending participation in the Human Rights Campaign. They've done a lot to run from DEI. Now, I already wasn't always, a big, believer that Harley Davidson fully embraced DEI. I think they just did what they, needed to do, because you understand all kinds of people can buy motorcycles and their products. But that's why it was interesting when the minority leader, and let me just double check this real quick before I say it. But when the minority leader came to Milwaukee a weekend ago, for the national listening tour, they had folks down at the Harley Davidson Museum. And I'm trying to remember if the Harley Davidson Museum is, I think it's connected to Harley Davidson Corporation. And if so, you know, I know it's hard, but why am I helping to support businesses that don't support us? Was the first thing I thought. Why am I helping to support businesses that don't support us? I wouldn't have been holding Jack Nay Nathan at Harley Davidson Museum because you understand um, that they are one of the groups that's running away from DEI. I think that the Freedom Ball for Juneteenth was held there. And again, be discerning with your dollars, people. I'm spending money with companies, and on some level, we're not gonna be able to get away from it because the devil own a whole bunch of stuff. We're just not gonna be able to get away from it. Not calling these companies devils, just a just a little phrase I use. But we're not gonna be able to get away from it. But as you get ready to plan your church banquet, your sponsorship, your fundraising dinner, your gala, your ball, your this, your that, you ought to think about where you hosting this stuff and who you giving money to. And if these are organizations that fundamentally are walking away from business contracts and doing work with Black business suppliers, and we scrapping all DEI in our hiring initiatives and policy goals, if we moving away from that, because Harley already had been sketchy in terms of the number of Black-owned dealerships, in terms of how they show up in the community, in terms of Black people, they already have been sketchy. So I'm just saying, as uncomfortable as it is, I'm renting space. I'm trying to support the businesses that support us. That's the whole Target conversation. That's the about to be Walmart conversation. That's the Dollar General conversation. That's the conversation we have every day in our communities about which stores we support in terms of corner stores, local stores, and who we don't mess with. Because we understand who does not mess with us. And some of y'all folks that's in leadership roles need to be thinking about some of that when you are deciding to do business at a venue. Does this venue match the overall goals, policy goals, mission statement of your organization? So, yeah. Let's see the NAACP have a Freedom Fund dinner at the Harley Museum. And they not. I'm just example. So, okay. Got that little rant out. Now, I said I want to come back to the word curated. Can I just say this? It drives me crazy when the new word of the day appears and everybody and they daddy try to think of a way to incorporate the word into whatever it is they doing. They make shoelaces and they'll say, because the buzzword right now is curated. We put together a special selection of books. We put together a special menu. We put together special shoelaces. So we have curated shoelaces for you for this event. I have been at so many events in the last month when people just run this word in the ground. And I'm like, y'all, stop doing what everybody do all the time. I know you feel like you must do it so you can appear hip and with it and blah, blah, blah. But people that's really paying attention, they see it, man. New word drop, everybody using the word, whether they old or young. Hey, that ain't even your word. Let them kids have that word. Leave that alone. I've had this conversation before. But just notice how many times y'all hear the word curated, because it is just like the word spaces. People wore the word spaces out. Like, I can't stand the word. Because everybody, they daddy, these spaces and these spaces and the spaces and the What did we say before you all figured out, how to copy somebody saying the word spaces one time at a meeting and it went viral across the world? Like, what did you say? What did you say? Name the industry. Name the profession. Name the area of discussion or specialty. But in these spaces. So now we on curated. And I'm just telling y'all need to stop. Okay, I'm done. I have had it. Let me get this caller real quick before I go to break. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm blessed. This is Angela.
Yes, ma'am. I know.
I'm calling about the Black Negro League because I personally shopped with Mr. Bizzle and his wife. We're very good friends. And I met two of the baseball players when they had something that I forgot what park it was. At Washington, no, what Washington Park. But wherever park it was, I helped his wife with that. But I met Nathan Sonny West, and he plays for Chicago American Giants in 1951. He was an outfielder and a first baser. And then I met Jim Corbin. He played for the New York Black Yankees, and then he went to the Indianapolis Clowns, 1956 and 1957, third base and shortstop and center field.
Okay.
So don't tell me I won't be there on the 11th because I got tickets already.
You already got your tickets?
You better know.
That's excellent, Angela. That is
you
excellent.
Better know.
Thank
and
you
even
so
if
much
I
for
didn't
that
have
support.
my tickets, Mr. Bizzle, real good friend of mine, he makes sure I get in there, girl. But I'll be there anyway because I have my tickets, me and my daughter.
All right. Well, you'll have to tell us how the game is next week when I get back.
I surely will. And I met a Lady D yesterday. I won't tell you where I met her at, but I want to give her a shout out. Hey, Lady D, good meeting you yesterday, sister. Hi, D boy, right? I got to go to my doctor, my appointment here. Bye, y'all. Have a good day. Love y'all.
Love you too, sis. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Somebody say Angela is hyped this morning, passionate about the subject. We all can stand to be a little bit passionate about our history and some of the things that go on. In fact, I'm gonna bring up a little history this morning, but let me do this real quick. I said I had a couple of announcements. I want to make people aware. Oh, wait. Yes, this is happening tomorrow. That on Tuesday, July 8th, the King Drive Business Improvement District, so the King BID, will host an artist conversation, an info session to share more about the brush art installation process. BRUSH stands for Boldness, Resilience, Unity, Solidarity, and Harmony, as well as preparing local artists for the upcoming 2025 Bronzeville Week Art Walk. The information session and conversation will take place from 4:30 to 6 at the African American Chamber of Commerce, which is off of 1920 North MLK Drive. Attendees can expect to gain insight into the BRUSH program and processes and learn what they need to know to prepare submissions for the annual Art Walk. Alderwoman Malele Coggs is encouraging all interested artists to attend the event to learn more. And so I saw this press release that she had put out. So again, if you are an artist and interested in being a part of Bronzeville Week Art Walk, please take advantage of this session tomorrow, 4:30 to 6 p.m. over at the African American Chamber of Commerce. Last thing I'll say before going to break, and I'm gonna see if I can get some of their folks on the phone. But the African Cultural Festival is happening on July 12th from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. It is happening where it traditionally takes place over in Brown Deer Park, areas 2 and 3. A day filled with traditional African music and dance performances, taste of authentic African cuisine, a marketplace, art exhibits, and craft vendors, fashion show, cultural education and fun, activities for children and families, live band, DJ, and more. So this is a free event that happens in the community. And again, it is the 2025 African Cultural Festival. Make sure if you are in town and available on July 12th, looking for something to do and can support brothers and sisters in the diaspora, that we do that. And again, somebody just text me. Yes, it is from 11 to 8 p.m. And I'll see if I can get somebody from the organizers to come on the show and talk about the event. All right, y'all, let me take a quick break. Whew, it's going to be a lot today. And we have a guest at 8 o'clock. I'll say, but a lot to get to. I'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to the show. So many of you have been watching the weather situation in the state of Texas. If anyone has any family members, community folks that you know that are impacted, of course, we send our condolences because they estimate that roughly 80 people have died so far. Also, tens of people are still missing, many of them children. A camp area in one community was hit very, very hard. At one time, they were talking about as many as 20 young female campers missing. I think they've gotten that number down to 10. Um, a group of girls had been found. The storms hit in the late night, early morning hours, so it caught a lot of people off guard. Kerr County in Texas seems like it took the hardest brunt, reporting 68 deaths, 40 adults, 28 children. 10 children that I talked about that were still missing are missing from Camp Mystic. And so one of the things that they said is that the catastrophic flooding struck Friday with a surge of 20 to 26 feet on the Guadalupe River near Kerrville, I'm sorry, causing widespread damage. And, a couple of questions have been raised. Number one, Donald Trump was hot to trot to decimate the National Weather Service. And in that region, a number of those positions sit vacant. These are the people that are helping to look at weather patterns, figure out what's going on, get this information on the ground to local communities. Some of these offices are based in local communities. And I think I saw something that said that in Houston alone, in their Houston office, they have 25 staff positions. And there are 11 vacancies because of Donald Trump gutting the National Weather Service. Meteorologists have said, nope, we got the warnings. We got them issued timely and accurate. But a number of people are like, no, you didn't. And there's a problem with this. And they said, but it was flash flooding. It was hard to, kind of see that this is going to happen. And they're getting a whole bunch of pushback from the community who were like, no, not trying to hear that. This is a area that had also talked about putting in warning sounds systems for flood disasters. And like a lot of things in politics, it got discussed, the can got kicked around, and ultimately nothing was done. So Donald Trump has come out already to talk about, issuing a national declaration, disaster declaration for the state, for these impacted areas. And Governor Abbott, has, the Trump administration is doing what they can and helping us out. But the thing that's funny, and leave it to me and to some other folks to sit back with their arms folded and be like, huh. So when the fires was burning up California, everything is political. You can't get no help until you change your voting rights laws or your voting procedures. You can't get no help because it's mostly Democrats and red and blue state conversations. No, y'all should be able to help yourself. So I guess I'm trying to figure out what changes because now we in good old boy Texas. Should Texas be able to help themselves? Because the Trump administration would love to get rid of FEMA in its entirety because he said y'all need to be able to handle your own disasters. This is such a disaster. This is such a disaster. But yet, I don't hear all the hand wringing, connecting policy. And I mean, it's still fresh. It just happened on Friday. They are expecting, in fact, more storms to come their way. So it's still fresh. But I know somebody from California better be raising hell about whatever the response is, given the way California got clowned about needing help during the wildfires. And the same arguments about climate change and what we are doing as global citizens that is impacting weather patterns. I don't know if any of y'all ever see those National Geographic shows or documentaries where they go to the bottom of the ocean floor and it's all white. And you like, is this supposed to be all white? All the vegetation, plants, everything on the ocean floor in certain areas, all white. And you're like, why is it all white? And then they said, well, I'm glad you asked. Global warming. We are literally warming up the water to the point that it is basically boiling the damn plant life at the bottom of the ocean. But Republicans will have you believe that climate change is not a thing. We don't need to worry about emissions. We don't need to worry about greenhouse gas effects. We don't need to worry about recycling or, just plants, bring back coal. We don't need to worry about any of those things. But we steadily destroying the earth and changing the weather patterns in ways that many of us will not be able to deal with in the future. So I just want to know when the policy, Trump will probably say, well, Abbott in Texas is in line with everything that I believe. And so there's no need to bring up policy. But the bigger, broader point was you said we don't need FEMA at all and let these states individually handle their own crises. So that's the other part that I'm going to be looking for. Then here's another part. It's messy. And people have tried to, get mad because a woman raised a comment about Camp Mystic. So Camp Mystic is a summer camp. Okay. It is a summer camp. And many people, this camp has been around for decades. And many people go to this camp. But there was this one sister who said that where I said all these little girls was missing from, this one sister said Camp Mystic is a white-only girls Christian camp. That's what she said. She said in a post, I know I'm going to get canceled for this, but Camp Mystic is a white-only girls Christian camp. They don't even have a token Asian. They don't have a token Black person. It's an all-white, white-only conservative Christian camp. Her name, the lady that said it, her name is Sade Perkins. And she posted this on her TikTok, her private TikTok account. So the mayor of Houston gets just blasted because they had appointed her to she was a former appointee. She's not still working with the city of Houston at this point. And so she went on to say in her post, if you ain't white, you ain't right. You ain't getting in, you ain't going, period. And people got mad. People, you're awful, you're horrible, you're disgusting, and and
to the tragedy.
I'm sure that's part of it, but I don't, I'm the wrong one.
Somehow we knew that.
Because the question is, and somebody just hit me up, but did she lie? The question, while people may be relevant, not relevant, are they racist? Is it, and I've not seen anybody Black come forward and say, oh no, I went to Camp Mystic. I've not seen anybody from any other ethnic group come forward or racial group come forward and say, oh no, I went to Camp Mystic. And some of the people, they said, oh no, it's very diverse. We have very wealthy families. And we have, people that are middle of the road. Like, so you got economic diversity. But is it racially exclusive? Somebody said, I heard that some of the girls have relatives in the U.S. Senate and Congress. Oh, I'm sure. Because look who is making up Congress. A whole bunch of Christian conservatives. But here's the question. Is Sade Perkins lying? And see, won't nobody address that. Oh my God, it was awful what she said. She should be reprimanded. Did she lie? And somebody may say, is it relevant? Well, you might. You might. Because, it's people who will be messed up. And like, now, how sad am I going to feel when y'all was some racists excluding people on the basis of color? So you still practicing segregation and discrimination. You want me to feel bad for you? I'm just saying it's uncomfortable, but somebody need to answer the question, is this woman incorrect? And if she's incorrect, prove it so that she can hopefully publicly apologize the same way she put the post out there. But if you can't prove it, then we're going to need to stop beating up on Sade Perkins for also making an obvious comment. Because there are things that we know if we see it happening, and the first thing we'll do is say, what side of town was that on? Oh, yeah, them white folks. Or, oh, yeah, them black folks. Oh, yeah, them Mexicans. Everybody do it. So don't act like people don't do it. Oh, where was that at? Oh, yeah, that's that. So-and-so too, killed in, I don't know, Ashabawan, however you say it. And black people be like, yeah, that ain't us. You think of race. Is the reason why Sade Perkins said what she said. She wasn't just looking and like, So I'm just saying, if you hadn't heard about that little bit of the controversy, while we're mourning, somebody still needs to be able to tell the truth about the allegations that this young sister made. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Good day, sister.
Hey, bro, how you doing today from Germany?
Struggling to digest a little coffee and listening to you.
Okay, well, look, don't struggle. Let's make sure you're good.
I heard your comments about the funeral home in Virginia and the young man who had the issue with maggots during his burial.
Yes.
And I took that as a sign and symbol that I should be careful what I say on your radio station.
Okay.
But I want to speak to climate change and apocalypse. I have talked about apocalypse on Al Sharpton's show, and I hope and pray that I am wrong, not only about civil war taking place there in America, but also about apocalypse occurring. I would be glad to be the fool who believes something false if it gives humanity hope. But I don't think climate change is to be ignored by the people in power and the government and the rich who puppeteer government. You cannot ignore storms. You cannot ignore earthquakes. You cannot ignore the situation with the sun and the atmosphere. Oxygen levels are dropping in the atmosphere over the last 100 years because of us. Excuse me, ambulances are going by. But oxygen levels are dropping because of what we've done with fossil fuels over the last 100 years. And you cannot ignore these things. Sister, I'm done.
All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And for folks that may not be familiar with the term, it actually is a phrase. It's called client apocalypse. And it is, some people say, a hypothetical scenario in which severe climate change impacts lead to societal collapse and even human extinction. Now, there have been researchers at MIT who have said, no, you'll never see the full end of the world. But for sure, if we don't check in the way we do things and pay attention to what the research is telling us, what different climate models are showing us, that you can see a significant loss of life. You can see displacement. You can't live in areas you used to be able to live in, and economic hardship because you can literally gut out entire industries based on weather patterns and how the climate changes. So, this is something that there's an intergovernmental panel on climate change whose reports highlights the risk of these rising temperatures and are trying to get people to understand whether we're talking about sea levels that are rising, extreme weather events, disruptions to the ecosystems, that these things are happening and occurring, and putting our head in the sand and talking about take America back to the 1940s and 30s with the way we used to do stuff and put pollutants in the air. You know, we got brownfields right now and areas in this community that are uninhabitable or shouldn't be inhabited because of what's in the ground and the soil underneath, you know, different housing developments, residences in communities. People are talking right now about Master Lock and whether or not they left a boatload of chemical cleanup that needed to occur before they closed shop and got out of town. So there are all kinds of things that we have to be willing to do by way of conversation to appreciate the situation that we in. And if there is no reminder, you know, I would say Hurricane Katrina was one of those for me. First of all, it's crazy to believe that we are coming up on the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. August 29th was the day that Katrina made landfall. And Ryan Coogler, who did Sinners, the Black Panther, is doing a documentary in which they will be a 5-part documentary in which they will be looking from the lens of many of the folks that were immediately impacted about Hurricane Katrina. Jay, can I get the cord? I want to play the trailer for this. And this is happening this month on July 27th. Hang on, let me see. I'm going to pull it up.
If you're still hearing us and you haven't left yet.
Okay, hang on. All right. let's go.
If you're still hearing us and you haven't left yet, please leave. I hate to say this, but I just don't have enough body bag.
The calmness before a storm is deafening.
As Hurricane Katrina was approaching, we knew this was going to be a catastrophe.
I didn't want to leave because I didn't know what we was going to be coming back to. I just was praying.
There is a house and you walk over.
People won't realize how big Katrina was.
Is too big to turn. It's gonna hit us.
They call the rising sun.
It's not a normal hurricane. Something's wrong. And my heart just sank. We have a breach in the levee.
We have rain inside the Superdome. I repeat, rain inside the dome.
In 3 minutes, it went from the ground to the roof.
A lot of people suffered, and a lot of people suffered needlessly.
Just let me know y'all living, you heard me?
People coming out of one bad situation, but they didn't know they was coming to another hell.
We expected FEMA to come in, but there was no help.
I told the guys, go find whatever boat you can find. We went and did what we had to do to try to save people's lives.
This community was not wanting to go out and just loot. There was people trying to survive.
You got a government. What is they doing? Sincerely, bro. That's not something you ever want to do, to tell the truth to shoot civilians. Governor, that's your people. They just let us down. To them, we wasn't even human no more. But people from New Orleans, we knew how to survive. And it's supposed to be the greatest country on the planet. In order to prevent something, you got to understand why it happened in the first place.
There is a house and you all the
All right, family. So just so you know, this 5-part documentary, again, being done by the brother Ryan Coogler. It is going to premiere on one of the streaming services, I think Disney Plus, but it's done by National Geographic. It's called A Race Against Time, or just simply Race Against Time. And it's going to air on July 27th. I also understand I got a couple of phone calls. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello.
Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine. This is Stanford calling. In line with your comments that you just made a moment ago about the young lady calling out the institutional racism and the separatism that goes on, you had a call last Thursday before you left, the second call before the last, and the young lady was making aware uh, of the young people that were coming up, young women that were coming up missing. And I think she talked about 32 people, 32 women came up missing, and then another 32, 64. And after she was making us aware of what was going on, and I thought that was very heavy to think about girls coming up missing off the street and no one's paying attention. And so right after she got off, he had another call that came in. And he jumped back into what was going on in Gaza. And my point is that when it comes to us, it's always swept under the rug, the lack of concern. To me, that was such a heavy conversation and an awareness that should have been accentuated on, that we need to look out for our girls and our women in the streets because so much is going on, and not just sweep over it like it didn't exist. And I remember one of the last.
And I gotta go back and listen to the show because I don't remember it coming up. And perhaps I missed it. Like I'll have to go back and look. And so you said it was a show from last week?
Last Thursday.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and watch the show and see exactly what happened.
Right at the end.
Towards the end?
Right at the end.
Okay.
Yes, the second call before the end. And just before we went off for a 4th of July holiday. But what happened was, again, she brought the missing girls in Atlanta, and she brought one number and brought another number, and kind of told them like 64 women that came up missing. And that
didn't happen on my show.
Yes,
I do not remember that conversation at all.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no way I would have heard a conversation about 64 missing girls, women in Atlanta.
Check it out.
Was it on DJ's?
Lost my mind.
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go back and listen. Because like I said, it's out of character for me to hear that, and particularly as a Black woman and all the stuff that I talk about. But I definitely will go back and listen. Let me just say this: there is a task force that has been had been work done at the state level. State Representative Sheila, I can't even think of her last name right now, but that there a whole task force being tried to be assembled in Wisconsin to be able to deal with missing Black girls and women. Hang on, I can't believe I can't think. Hang on, because I want to be able to reference it. But go ahead, keep making your point while I pull it up real quick.
Okay, no problem. But there was a show before Eric died, and he had a lady in that was a talent agent from Chicago.
Okay.
And he was asking what was going on in the world of entertainment or talent research and recruitment. And she said, well, we're moving in the direction of ethnically ambiguous people to be in our ad. And so basically they'll have people that look like us, but look so light or bright that you can't tell that they're Black or not, or they're a white person with a tan. And I thought that was very interesting that happened years ago. And look at where we are now. It's almost like we're being erased because we have to double check and see if that's a Black person or not in an ad.
Yeah, no, I certainly concur, and you're right. The work, and Sheila Stubbs, thank you, Soror, who flagged that for me, is the person that put together this task force on missing and murdered Black women and girls, and have been trying to get support for it. But you're absolutely right. If we don't call attention to our plight and our situation, it's hard, to fight against or even have the expectation that other people will. And so keeping these stories at the top of our agenda is important and critical. I don't disagree. And that's why, I talk about fighting to make sure we maintain our history and our presence, because it seems like there is a real effort to kind of, remove certain people from from history, from existence, literally the things that all the contributions that we've made, people would like to gloss over them and act like we didn't do any of these things. So I certainly hear you, bro.
Hmm. Yes, and one last point. Um, we have to challenge our leaders that will lead us to go to the Harley Davidson Museum for anything. If they're leaders, they need to do their research. Why would we spend money with people that don't want to even include us? And but we give it away, and that's why it doesn't exist in our own community. I mean, it's not to point fingers at anyone, but we need to have discussions so we can build bridges and tear down these barriers so we can start becoming whole in our own community, so our money will circulate more than just an hour when we get paid.
Absolutely. Thank you, bro, for the call. Poignant things to think about. And I will just be real clear. I tell anybody, really is happening to leave my community to go shop. Now, it's one thing if we just out kicking, but it's becoming to the point you have to be in order to get certain
Yeah,
things done.
yeah.
So thank you, bro. I appreciate the call. It was really important.
All right, yeah.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Thank you. And I tell you, I'm just looking careful. I was looking for some quality household items that and I had to like just think about it. I'm up 170,000. I had to go to either Monopoly Fall, Brookfield, or further out to even get anything because there's nothing in our area but Walmart. There's nothing. So if I wanted some high-end wine glasses or some this and that, there's nowhere to go. The only retail shopping thing in my area is freaking Walmart. Like, what in the world? You ain't even got a TJ Maxx or Marshalls, nothing, just Walmart. And I'm just using that as another example, not high end, but just another example. They make us go and we follow. I'll be right back. welcome back to the show. So before I went to break, I had a couple of callers that were in queue, and let me go directly back to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
Hey, this is Annette.
Hey, Miss Annette, what's going on?
Yeah, that was me that called in to the show. I guess the young man, CJ, he's the one that filled in for
Keith.
DJ.
Yeah, DJ. I figured it happened on Keith and DJ when DJ filled in for Keith, because I'm like, I know I would have remembered that conversation and I didn't. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Miss Annette, for that clarification.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm always looking out for the community when I run across something on my phone or something that is important as this subject here. They had, this was in Washington, D.C., where we had 34 young women that had been coming up missing in the Washington, D.C. area that had not been reported missing. And then they said another 34 had been missing and had not been reported, as well as they had another situation where in Canada, now I know Canada's another country, but not too far away, where there's Detroit, that's right out in their backyard, where black men were missing. And how did that come off the radar? Where that's not going to be reported as well. And that I couldn't sleep and not just get this out in the atmosphere on our black media outlets. And every time that happens, I said, I can't just hold this information. I'm not going to hold this information in my spirit without letting my community know this is what is going on. Because I have a missing family member that has been missing since Christmas. This is just one of many of our young people missing. And when it becomes it's in your own backyard, this has never happened in our family, but it's in our backyard right now. And he's been missing since Christmas. And we don't know what has happened to him. He's 20 years old.
Here in the city?
No, he in Tennessee.
Tennessee, okay, I'm sorry. I missed if you said that.
And so they have found in Tennessee some of the young men down there decapitated African American young men. How come the detectives haven't? Now this is what they have told our family, that some of the men down there are decapitated and missing limbs, in our case, and missing parts of the bodies that they have found. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to share that with you all this morning and the other day. I didn't go into detail because of the holiday, but what they have told us in our case, in our family member, they have found decapitated young men down in Tennessee. So this is one of the reasons why I brought that the whole entire full circle up the other day.
No, thank you so much. Miss Annette, it is one of those things we frequently, fuss about, lament about. I talked about it during the Sharday Robinson case. The coverage of that nationally was awful. It was god awful.
Absolutely.
Had it been the other way around, white girl decapitated, dismembered by, a black man, we'll still be talking about it this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
So we know it's disproportionate, and whatever you can do to help sound the alarm. And I think now I had to go back. I'm like, I remember you talking about your missing family member previously. So I am so sorry that there has been no more movement and no better situation in that. But no, thank you for the work.
You're welcome,
to flag
I love
and
you
make sure
so
we
much.
know. Yes, ma'am.
I love y'all so much, and thank you for getting this word out, because I really want to help the mothers and support them. And I'm continuously praying for the missing mothers and the children. And if you have and before I hang up, Michelle, we did have a situation right here by my house on the 4th of July. somebody lost a family member right here on 26 in Townsend, right here right here on Townsend on the 4th of July, and whoever's mother or son, two shootings right here by A.L. Smith. So let's continue to lift up these family members in our city. We got to slow this summer down. We got to really take this city back. I don't know how, but I am going to be on the phone this morning with my alderman. So if you own a home or whatever the case may be, let's not just get on this radio. Let's call these. It's Monday morning quarterbacking. Let's get on this phone. Let's call. Let me get my coffee. Let me get my coffee going, Michelle. I'm finna get on this phone. Call the alderman. Because if they don't hear from us, they ain't gonna do nothing. Hello, somebody.
Yes,
come on
ma'am.
now. Let's get this phone lit up. I love y'all.
All right.
God bless.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Neff, for the call. All right, family. So I told you all I was expecting a guest this morning, and some of this ties in a very interesting way. Let me frame out what I mean. I ended before going into the break. I was talking about Hurricane Katrina, the levees breaking, the movie that Ryan Coogler is doing, 5-part documentary that's set to air on July 27th, and Ryan Coogler's name has just been out hot, from Black Panther to his most recent work, Sinners. There is another portion of Sinners that will be airing that has a slightly different take in it that was not done in the movie that people will have an opportunity to view. But that movie, Sinners, generated a lot of conversation. There were people that talked about what they believed in terms of the one female character in the movie who had her bag. And in that bag, she had, either medicinal, potions. Some people said black magic. Some folks said hoodoo, voodoo, whatever it was. And people started having conversations, and they started talking about the significance of blue paint on a porch, and that was intended to keep evil spirits away. And, so I was talking to some of my friends, and I was telling them that in my family, people have believed, my grandfather believed in it, that there were folks that had different types of skills and connections that could see things that we couldn't always see. And so even though there would always be pushback depending on which segment of the community you talk to, my Aunt Ann would tell you, oh, I had a dream, and I dreamed about X, Y, and Z, and go do this because this is going to happen as a result of that dream. I've actually seen it occur, and so at Juneteenth, I, working for the radio station, had an opportunity to encounter a sister down there who's, first of all, her clothing caught my attention. And we ended up striking up a conversation. Psychic Marie. Hey, Psychic Marie, how you doing this morning?
Hey, Michelle. Thank you so much, too.
No, it is a pleasure. Because after we started talking, first of all, to learn that you had a connection to the radio station in years past in terms of Mike McGee's show.
Yes.
And I had to go back and kind of remember, I think I kind of remember that. But for people that, as I bring this stuff up, when I say Psychic Marie, yes, everybody gonna have a million things about what they think that means.
Yes.
Can you shed some light on what it is that you do that would help you fall under the label of psychic, or the business that you are in?
Well, first of all, Michelle, I'm so happy to be a guest here on your show. It is such an honor to be here with saying something real with you, because that's what I do. I have real talk. And I would like to just take you back just for a moment, how I got into my spiritual abilities since a kid. And one of the things that just happened naturally, I can't really explain how it happened, but I had a sister. She was 10. I'm sorry, she was 9. I was 10. She had asthma really bad. And this day we were playing in Louisiana. And I told my sister, I got mad at her. I said, I wish you died. Now I'm only 10. I don't know what I'm saying anything like this for, but I told her that. But we made up. We was sitting down, and she was next to me, and her asthma started acting up. She asked me to go get her some water. So I went to go get her some water. and I sat next down to her, and this girl just laid on my lap like she was asleep. And I said, "Girl, get up." And I looked at her, water was coming out, fluids was coming out everywhere, the nose, ears, mouth, everything. But anyway, my sister died instantly right there in my arms. I'm 10 years old holding my sister's 9-year-old dead body. But it didn't stop there. This girl started talking to me. I said, wait a second, this girl's talking to me. I'm telling everybody, my sister talking to me. My sister. Oh, my mom was like, girl, you're going to have to go see a psychiatrist. You is not talking to your sister. I said, yes, I am. But then something else happened after that. I started talking to more people on the other side and more people. And, it's my experience. And when you experience it with me, you would only know, I just give the message. I'm just a messenger. I'm not here about who believes what, who believes not. And a lot of people on the other side is looking for messages, just like that lady that just called in. And even when she was talking, I picked up a message, and I actually picked up a message about that as well. And I was seeing that brother was in the spirit world. The 20-year-old was in the spirit realm, and I was seeing the situation. I didn't go deep into it because I wasn't focusing on that deeply, but I did see a little bit about the situation, that what had happened. I really don't know how I see things. It's like a TV come on, and I can just tell people things. So I've been doing it, and since I was 10 years old.
So let me ask this. So now because I know you had reference to Orleans. So where are you from exactly?
Yes. Okay. So I'm a little bit all over the place. Now, I've been in New Orleans for the last 4 years on Bourbon Street. And I born in New York, raised in New York City, and born in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit all over the place, but I represent New Orleans because of the business there, and I've been there for some time, and that's where my roots are from.
So there are a lot of people, like you said, and I appreciate that you said that right out the gate. I'm not here to make you believe, not believe, because there will be people that certainly will be like, oh, go on with that. Girl, can't nobody, that ain't true. People can't, but if you also go to any family reunion, somebody will tell you, well, there was this time I did see Madea, or I did feel like so and so had their hands on a situation. But it's harder to believe when somebody presents and says, no, this is an ability, this is a skill. But we know that the industry is huge. I mean, I don't care. And having grown up in New York, for portions of my life myself, you didn't tell people, if somebody said something about a psychic reading, you didn't laugh at that. Now, you may or may not have been with it, but you didn't laugh at it because it was so prevalent in a lot of our communities. Oh, yeah. So I'm just going to get that piece out the way and say, I'm glad that you said, hey, I ain't here to make you believe. Oh, yes. But for folks that are interested, that are curious, I'm here. Yes. So let me just say this to callers as we are setting up this conversation. Psychic Marie has said that she will take phone calls. All she got to do is say hello, and she will give you a short reading, tell you something about yourself. But are there many, and like the only psychics that I know and have ever really, seen have been Black. Okay. Don't mess with nobody else. Don't know about nobody else. I got to be honest. I've never used the services, never got a reading, unless somebody said, let me, tell you what I got to tell you. But when you came up to me at Juneteenth, you said a few things to me that made me step back and look at you sideways. I then had you talk to one of my friends. You had never met her. You know who she was. Same situation. And we both kind of started smiling. But when, and I'm saying this also because I want to make sure that people, somebody said, I think she did a reading for me back in the day. I think she was off Burleigh. If that is her, I do want her information. Please give it. Because I know, like I said, going back to that McGee era, but there are people in Milwaukee that have had connections with you.
Oh, yeah.
You have been in and out. And then did I hear it right that at one time you were actually looking at a television reality series down in Atlanta? Was that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. So when people say, how can somebody just walk up to you cold off the street and start, trying to give you a reading or tell you about it? And then what's the difference, in some of the things? Because like a reading, Is that just a quick, I got a vibe from you, or I saw you, was those tarot cards I saw?
Yes.
Oh, and I'm gonna tell you right now, every movie has made me scared of tarot cards because they be like, they're gonna death card. You like, hey, don't want to know, but help people kind of understand the industry. Like if somebody came to see you or talk to you, what would they hear, or what types of things would you tell people?
Well, I provide different kinds of readings, and it is true. I've been around. I probably went by a couple of different names because I'm a real medium. So I channel. I'm a channeler. So people know me by a few different names. But however, I have been putting the work in for many, many years. And the tarot card deck, though, it's only used. The tarot card deck is only used to go farther because I do different kind of readers. So the type of reading when I'm like out, if I'm working, then I call that the prophetic reading. So it's like I look at you, it's not like it is. I immediately start seeing images in my mind. So a lot of times I'm looking up because I'm looking up in my head. I see images and I'm repeating back the images. And so I say, oh, so this is what I'm seeing. And so this is why I can speak confidently when I am doing a reading, because it's not coming from me. I can literally see it, So I'm like, oh, I see it. Let me tell it to you. And so that only lasts I can't do that longer than a couple of minutes.
Okay.
So utilizing the tarot deck, it just allows the images the reading to go on a lot farther. And so I appreciate using it. Now, I can get a little deep because the New Orleans people, they get deep with it. They get deep with it, so I can go deeper with it in New Orleans. So people book me all over the world there to have what they call the seance. Some people like, oh, that's the devil. But
because I was going to say, how do you combat that part? When people talk about just a fear, and I'm like this. I have learned a long time ago not to judge a book by its cover. Because this is the thing. So like your appearance. So when you were at Juneteenth, you had like the Mardi Gras feel in terms of the way you were dressed. Today you sitting here, you got your hat on, you got the light purple ombre, hair going. And, there will be people that will try to decide, this is just comical. It's a joke. But I tell people, but you will sit in front of a pastor or in front of people that got a suit on, and they will run all the BS in the world under you, but it's okay because they look a certain way. And so what do you say even about people who will see your look and be like, I don't know.
Well, I'm a spiritual entertainer. So that doesn't, I use that word because everybody, I haven't had anybody that said this is a joke when I give it to them. Okay. But it makes me approachable, and it makes me friendly and approachable. It makes people feel comfortable, and that is my marketing tool that I say you can come up to me because it makes people come up to me. If I'm dressed in regular clothes, how I'm gonna stand out? How people gonna see me? How people gonna notice me?
Because I'm telling you, it was the fit. I looked at the fit right away. It was like, okay, I see you. Well, I tell you what, we got a caller. Let me see what they're talking about. I want to ask some more questions, but let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle, long time no hear from.
Hey, how you doing today, bruh?
I'm doing good. I ain't no need to complain about nothing, but I want her to touch bases with me. I don't know nothing about this, but hey, I'm open to anything.
Okay, hang on. I think that's all she needs.
Yeah. So thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate that. I'm just going to take this moment right now and just pick up your energy. So immediately, I can already see that you have been putting in a lot of work in a particular area. But I would say this: it comes a time where we want more, and we want to do more. We want to receive more. And I'm gonna say here, it is time. I think that you reach out and get more. The contracts or grants, and I'm seeing those contracts really like coming from the city to expand what it is that you're doing, but it takes the time and needing the help. So a lot of times you might be aware of something but not necessarily getting those contracts and things like that, because look, I gotta work. I can't do both. That's not my skill. But if you sit down with it, I can really see you expanding and helping the community even more with the work that you can be able to provide the people who can really expand in what you are already doing. That is my message for you.
All right.
Wow. Hey, that's something serious. And I am trying to start this program called Hook to Hoods, where I take the young individuals out fishing and teach them skills and try to open them up and teach them how there's more than just violence in these streets and there's more life outside of this concrete jungle. That's crazy. That's, oh my God. Yeah.
Right.
And I've been trying to get help in it. Man, wow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you will be able to it. So don't give up. You just gotta have that intention. I'm gonna do this paperwork. I'm gonna get it started. And just speak to people as you go along. But I feel like you already did get it started a little bit and seeking it, but you can get it done, and you need to get it done because I seen the money coming to you.
All right. Thank you, brother. Let me get my next caller. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Want to see if you can pick up something on the energy reading for me.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much for calling in. I can see automatically it was a mother figure that was watching over you, protecting you, and guiding you, trying to work here through the family. One, to say thank you for everything that you have done, knowing that you have been there for the family, knowing that you have been there for people, and maybe feeling like I don't get a return back on all the things that I do give. But it is a return back because you got to look at all the things you ever wanted, anything it was, you was blessed to get it done. You was blessed for doors to open up for you. And that was because of what you've done. It might not come back to you the way that you want it to come back, but it does come back. Also, would like to let you know, also when it comes down to a health matter, it's already overcame here. It's already overcame to where it can be completed at. But I am seeing though, for whatever the situation is, or you come upon, always see a specialist and not just a doctor. See a specialist that specializes in that's needed. But something is going on. I'm feeling here feet and bones, and I'm feeling work, and I just feel like, don't let it stay. Sometimes we be like, oh, I might got a pain in my foot, I don't really and let it go and let it go, let it go. No, go see a specialist. So I just wanted to say though, you are truly blessed, and I see your blessings are coming back in return. And if any health matters that may come your way, I say just focus on a specialist. All the doors will open up. Don't worry about the money for it. Just find a specialist for it. That's my message.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. All right. Look, y'all, I got to take a quick break. Phone lines are lit up. I figured they would be. Like I tell people all the time, you never know. And to shut doors or to discount or to just say, hey, I've seen, like I said, in every community I've lived in, people be engaged in some way, shape, or form with folks who just are skilled differently. And I'll just leave it there. Let me take a quick break, y'all. We'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back. So I am taking time to do something a little off the beaten path, particularly for me in relationship to this discussion. But one of the things I have learned is that you talk to everybody, you can usually learn something from anybody. And I talked about the fact that I have a guest, Psychic Marie, in who has had experience with the station before in terms of Mike McGee show. There are listeners that are hitting me up on my text messages saying I've come across her before. We know, from some of the comments that you've made that you have been, both based in New Orleans. I talked about a reality show that you have been working on. I think that was out of Atlanta. But that there are lots of people that have come across you. And, immediately when people, and callers, I'm coming, but immediately when people think of stuff, you say psychic, they say, oh, Miss Cleo, and everybody busts out laughing. You know, Miss Cleo was crazy. Miss Cleo got caught up on tax fraud, or blah 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 blah. So how hard does it make it for you to try to do the things that you believe you are called to do when you got that kind of stuff that's out there?
Well, believe it or not, it's been so many events as just growing up, seeing, meeting other psychics. I didn't meet many people that was of my color in the platforms and being able to be access them and know where we are. I came across wise women that would tell you wisdom or tell you their intuition or would speak to you, but they never not necessarily put a name on it. I even grew up in church where I would meet the prophets, and that was the most exciting thing for me ever as a kid. When the prophet came, oh my God, I was like, yes, tell me something.
And that's why I think I kind of trip, because on one hand, you hear people talk about that all the time, the prophet, prophetess. I think about in my family, let them ladies say you had dreamed about fish. Yeah. Somebody about to have baby, somebody pregnant. Yeah. They had like little nuanced stuff for everything. Yeah. And you would just kind of be like, and later, your right hand itch means you're going to get some money. Left hand itch means you're going to pay it out. Then you think about the zodiac signs. And, I was telling people, I read what it said about Leo, and I'd be like, honey, that's me all day. Now, what's the odds of that though? And so on one hand we're willing to hear it, and on another hand, just blow it in the wind. Yeah. So, but I'm gonna do this because I know I got people that's on the line. Okay. I want to make sure we get them in. So let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, sister, peace be to greeted. Hey, my dear sister, I need you to drop a dime on the vibe that you're feeling from me right now.
Okay. Well, even just from your voice, before I even get into it, I could tell you have a bright personality. Okay. And when you have a bright personality, that means you have a voice to be heard. You have some type of style about yourself to be seen. And I would like to say that times have changed. You can now put yourself out in any kind of way, as far as when I mean any kind of way, that what you want to put out. We don't no longer need people to put us out anymore, so you got everything that it takes, but you do have an audience already that would tune into you. So you born with what your skills is already. And so it's like, okay, well, I do need the money to line up, but I can feel you have already lined up some success here for yourself. And I would say, and now it don't matter what city you in. We don't got to go to New York to make it. We don't got to go to LA to make it. We can make it right where we is in any country town, wherever we are, small city, because we now got the internet and we can now make that happen. So you got to now make that happen. You got to now. But I am seeing audio, video, producing, creator, creating things, but I also see people paying you because you already put yourself in that professional mode, but it's just time to redo it in a more professional mode using the new technology. A lot of people is against the AI stuff, but AI will create you a whole new movie right now, just editing it. So, but it is time that you put yourself out. And some reason, I just want to say superhero. I have no idea why. Remind me of the TV stuff, superhero. But yeah, I can also see writing. I just see that you have skills and you have never given up, and that's the most thing that matters, and so I would say keep going with that. That's my message. I did pick up something about the love aura. No, okay, the love aura. Sometimes you might not realize that I haven't made it to where I want to be. And so sometimes we can punish ourselves by not saying, hey, I deserve this, or I really don't, or we could push people away when we not happy with ourselves. But I want to say life is about the journey. Take the journey. And it's still hard for some people when they unhappy and hadn't made it where they wanted to make it to. I'm telling you, arrive at that place, it's nothing like what you think it is. So just enjoy the moment, be a little bit kinder to people, a little bit sweeter, open your heart a little bit. I know we done all been hurt here before, but just open it up, because I see someone here wanted to give you that love and you pushing them away. I can say you can trust them. The only way to trust them is till you can't trust them no more. But sometimes we got to check ourselves and say, okay, maybe I do need some therapy. Maybe I do need and sometimes nowadays we got AI therapy. Nowadays we could just go get us a therapy right online to get it out and talk about it. So that's my message for you.
Oh, wow. Right on to right on. Woo, okay. Woo. Beautiful.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Yes, sir. All right, got another caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning. You can try me.
Okay, I sure will. Thank you so much for calling. Yeah, I can see businessman. Business, definitely businessman. I can also see here I'm also seeing a female figure, and she seems to be young, but I see that she seems to be with you. And this is somebody that's also in spirit here. I can see that she's with you, guiding you, and I can also see that I'm curious to know, because I can see like someone contacting you. So otherwise, sometimes we have spirits around that we may not know, but there is a young lady that is around you saying, here, I'm with you, I'm near you. And I just see also a blocking here of the heart for some reason. It's like maybe I was there in this relationship once, and I'm not gonna open myself up like that again. And so I also feel like it's okay too, because sometimes we leave unfinished business, and I'm gonna say with people. And that unfinished business meaning that somebody left an open book on us, or we got an open book that we ain't closed the chapter to. And sometimes we can't go to the next chapter till that chapter is closed. So I'm also it's just something is just shut down in that area from what I can see. Now I'm not quite sure what is shut down, but on the other end, I'm seeing a happy marriage for you all at the end. I mean, a happy marriage. Okay, so you will not grow old alone. And so, but I also see when it comes down to business here, sometimes you can plan for retirement by not letting go of what you have, but passing it on, and how we pass that on. That's what the corporation is for. That's what the LLC is for. And we build that business to pass it on. And that's what I see. It's not about you just working, but pass on, leaving what you do to the next family members that are growing up. So that is my message for you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Got another caller. Hey, caller.
Yes, hi. Good morning. I hope all is well.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for calling in. Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this. Did you want to know about love?
Yes, and health.
Yeah. Because immediately I'm seeing an attachment. But this particular attachment that I'm seeing is attachment is hard to let go of. It is hard to let go of. It is hard to transition from. But I will like to say this. It is, in this case, I'm not seeing, what I'm seeing is a man that was being a man and being as respectful as he could be. But I would say this. I'm seeing how the best way that I could describe what I'm seeing is it's hard. I know exactly what to say, but it's like sometimes I want to take my time so you could process here what I'm trying to get through with you at. This is just a particular person that is going to have more than other people in their life, and you got to figure out a way. How could I divide my time? Just for an example, just say I'm picking up here. There's more than one baby mom, and he gets along with both of them. He go and spend a little time with this, a little time with that one. But you got, some men will go with it and cut that other family off, and cut them off just to make this one family happy. But I'm saying it's a situation that is hard to balance it out. But where this goes, it's not about you being by yourself. It's not about breaking up. It's not about being a bad person because they have other love and other families. It's about how could I share with that? How could I divide that time with that? And sometimes we don't want to look at our own maturity when it comes down to the situation and how we handle it. And so that is what I'm seeing, what to deal with. And that sometimes could take some therapy, or otherwise you could end up being alone for a while because your heart is already in that, and it's up to you if you want to work it out. But if you're going to be arguing, disagreeing, and just ongoing mad because the person's not doing what you want them to do, then that's definitely not happy and or healthy. And so why be in it if not? So I say, if you really want this, then it's up to you to really change how your outlook about it. And if you can't do that, then close the door completely instead of wanting to stay there and be angry and upset about it. That's my message for you.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Got another caller. Hey, caller.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi there. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. Okay, so the first thing that I'm seeing is you know, it's things that you grow like in the field, like things we can eat in the field, like farming. So this is a symbol. When I see farming, I see land, you see growing things. That means what you are doing is important. Food is important. Having resources is important. And so your role right now is important. Whatever you are on is important. It's for you to do, and you will do. And I want to say while you doing that, you might have been working for other people, but I would also like to say that I'm seeing a couple different things. Sometimes you might have a stable income that is coming in from what you call going to work for people, but you always need that thing on the side that I want to do for myself. And that is what I see. You got to do that thing for yourself that you know to do for yourself, regardless of why you're working for people. I do see some children around you as well. I'm going to say everything is going to be okay. I also see some males around you, male boys growing up. I also see them being okay. I normally don't ask people if they want to ask me a question, but I would like to ask you, would you like to ask me one question since my phone was disturbing everybody? One question. Do you have one question for me?
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Not sure. It's hard to hear. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. I want to do this because I know you can just hang up on. I know that like I said, I figured the response would be back to back because again, we just know way too many people that know. Somebody texted me and they said, real quick, where'd it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? I'll see. Oh, here it is. They said, on 24th and Locust, back in the early 1990s, I said to myself, someone at the corner store will die. As I was walking to work at 8:30 a.m., Well, when I got home later that evening, one of the men in the store was shot and killed. Ever since then, I don't wish bad on others, especially my family. I've thought things and things have happened. I hear everything Marie is saying. So I just wanted you to, know that there are tons of people who have experiences that they cannot explain. But let me just ask this question real quick because, like I said, I see these tarot cards and, people don't understand the purpose of those cards. And you said to give a deeper reading. But are there cards in the tarot deck that, like, if you see them come up, you need to be like nervous? Like,
I'm gonna say this: every deck will give you different information. Every deck reads differently. So there is existing dark decks. I don't use dark decks. So there is decks that will give you nothing but dark stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it'll tell you somebody gonna crash, you're gonna have an accident, all that crap. I don't do that. My deck is light. And so so there is decks that are made of darkness and there are decks that are made of light images.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
What'd you say? My phone call? Let me go to the phone line.
Yeah.
Jerry, like, get these calls, man. Hey, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. I'll turn it over.
Okay, I'm gonna just thank you so much for calling out and pick up your energy. Tell you here what it is that I'm seeing.
Okay.
Okay. I am seeing a health matter here around you. It feels like it's been neglected. I feel like I'm also seeing around the chest area, upper area, neck area. So that means that something does need to be cleared. But here's the good news: I see it being cleared. Okay, so it don't matter whatever. I don't want to get all deep here on the air, but I would say that it can be cleared. No matter what the situation is. I'm looking exactly at it, but I would say it's not about no creams or anything like that. You have to tap into some natural holistic things here. I would say that, and you would be able to get that. So what you need is existing. Even if someone told you that it does not exist, it does exist. It's just not in another natural way. But seeing somebody that is holistic, that know about those things, they will be able to correct those things. And I also wanted to let you know, I feel in a grandfather, whether you know this grandfather or not, I'm feeling watching over you here, protecting you, and members here of your family, saying, hey, we got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. That's the words that I keep seeing, do better. And it's so otherwise it's like how could we do better? What do we do better? How we gonna make this better? You know, because I'm not seeing better right now. This is the energy that I'm picking up. I'm not seeing better. I'm not feeling better. You know, I may be a little bit mad, maybe a little bit angry about some things, but let me just say this though. We some of us do have right to vent and be mad and get out there, but I will tell you something that I am feeling and seeing in you that can change all of that. And I'm gonna tell you the root where I'm seeing it started from, you know, and I can see it's like the exact making a long story short, it's like I trusted you before. You broke my heart. I loved you before. You broke my heart. I'm angry about it. Everybody gonna get this angry. Everybody gonna get it. You know.
Hallelujah.
So
Girl, you read
here's what I say. If you understand this, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. I know you ain't gonna like. Okay, I know you ain't gonna like it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Express yourself. Get on the date lines. Express yourself. Talk it out, work it out. And you don't trust people, get you a little bit of therapy. Get you a little bit of therapy to open up them doors. Or I would say it cannot stay this way. Or you go misery loves company. Okay, misery loves company. You gotta be strong enough to change this thing and how it's going and how you feel. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, caller. All right, look, family. So I am up against the clock. I do need to give out the contact information real quick, please.
Okay. So everybody, you can just Google Soul SOUL Psychics with an SPSYCHICS network meetup group. I also just Psychic Marie meetup group in Milwaukee. Just join the meetup group and you got direct access to me right on my phone. So that's Psychic Marie meetup group. Google it just like that, and you'll see Psychic Marie, and that's regular RIE. So the word Psychic Marie right here in Milwaukee meetup group, and we'll get together do some readers. And like I said, you can text me right away.
All right, family. Look, I gotta wrap the show, but I promise you, I will bring her back. I figured we would get this response and community. Thank you for being open and receptive to something different from me. Bruh, I appreciate y'all and Psychic Marie. Thank you so
And I
much.
thank all of you. Yeah,
All right. All right, family. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.